We're going to get right to it with Roger Putnam of Putnam Roby Williamson Communications and Brian Chimming of Midwest Strategy, also vice chair of the state Republican Party. One headline today, we mentioned it at the beginning of the newscast, State Senator Kathleen Vinehout is closer to entering the governor's race. I want to know what your take is, Roger, on a possible Democratic primary with Mary Burke.
Well, you know, I tell you, it's the hot debate within the party. You know, there's a lot of powerful people wanting to talk her out of it, and what we've learned through other press accounts and what have you, that, you know, the harder that she's getting pushed to not enter, the harder she's pushing back on entering. So there's a lot of concern. I think it's legitimate concern about how that's going to play out and how it's going to ultimately affect Burke in the general.
And I'm wondering, how does Governor Walker, Brian, in your opinion, fare against each of these women?
Well, I think he wins in either contest. What's interesting with the situation with Senator Vinehout is that the state Democratic Party is going out of their way to keep her out of this contest. Mary Burke is the anointed candidate of the state Democratic Party, and yet everywhere I go in the state, I keep hearing about Senator Vinehout. So they have a primary on that side. That is not the script for not only the state Democratic Party, the national Democratic chair was in here a couple of weeks ago telling her to stay out.
And, you know, Democrats can learn from Republicans during the U.S. Senate race when Tommy Thompson got beat up like crazy by Hovde. And, you know, he was a wounded animal by the time he went in against Tammy Baldwin.
Let's talk about the new John Doe investigation. This one's the one connected to the recall campaigns. It continues. Now people are challenging it to try and get it before the Supreme Court. What does this mean for the case and the broader impact here?
Well, I tell you, the Supreme Court is Republican territory because they've invested millions of dollars in getting people in, and which is actually the subject of some of the John Doe investigations. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out were it to get to the Supreme Court, because there's some conflicts of interest automatically.
Well, the truth of the matter is we don't really know what the investigation is about. And so because of the situation that the Democrats have in the governor's race and all the other issues they've got going on, Obamacare and all the negatives they've been, this is all they've got to talk about. So they want to talk about an investigation that they really don't know anything about.
Yeah, but what we do know about is the Wall Street Journal, that Republican bastion of knowledge, you know, points out there's 29 Republican organizations, including the Walker campaign, Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce, and the Republican Governors Association. That's real.
We have 30 seconds. I want to talk healthcare.gov. Yesterday, President Obama had this to say while kicking off his new push for Obamacare.
Despite all the problems in the rollout, about 500,000 people across the country are poised to gain healthcare coverage through marketplaces and Medicaid beginning on January 1st, some for the very first time.
Are things better?
They're better, and like I said before, it's over the long haul, this will fix itself.
Millions of people have lost their insurance. Millions more will. It's on the president's desk.
Brian, Roger, thanks as always. We appreciate your insight. We're going to have a final look at the forecast after the break.